Welcome back. All right, so news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Saturday, June the 21st, and we have a hockey game tonight in Abbotsford, so we'll be talking about that. But starting at the top of the board with some news from yesterday. Nils Lundqvist signed an extension with the Dallas Stars. It's 1 year. It's worth $1.25 million. Lundqvist is a decent depth defenseman, still finding his way in Dallas. Has never complained about a lack of ice time that I've seen. So, Lundqvist is doing what he's got to do. Maverick Bourque signs a 1 year extension, $950,000 contract. I think Bourque's going to have a higher profile with Dallas this coming season because of the fact this team doesn't have a ton of cap space. With these moves, they have $2.76 million in cap space for next year, and they've got some roster spots they need to fill, players they need to get signed. Yes, they're probably going to trade Lyubushkin or Dumba, but those contracts are going to involve trading out prospects or draft picks. Dallas is going to have to pay to get rid of those contracts in all likelihood. So Jim Nill's still working on getting through this cap situation with Dallas, and if he does, he'll prove he's the best GM in the league. If Dallas is still a contender when we get into next season, yeah, Jim Nill's, for me, established himself as one of the best general managers in the league, right up there with Bill Zito. And there are a few others that would be in that conversation, right? Dryden Hunt, a veteran depth player who will probably be playing the season with the Wranglers, earns a 2-year, two-way extension. It is $825,000 that he would make at the NHL level, although in all odds he'll probably be playing most of the season at the AHL level. It's $26.9 million in cap space is what Calgary has currently, according to Puckpedia. I will continue to put how much cap space teams need as we look at moves being made between now and July the 1st. Now, Cale Fleury signs a 2-year extension with Seattle. Looks like it's a one-way deal and pays him $890,000. So I'm always happy for these guys when they get a contract where they get paid the same at the AHL level as they do at the NHL level. And of course, if a contract is roughly $1 million in cap hit or lower, the whole thing gets written off when you send it down to the AHL. So no real danger for the NHL level team when it comes to the cap. And for the player, he doesn't have to worry about being sent down and all of a sudden making a lot less money. The Edmonton Oilers are still looking to extend Corey Perry and Connor Brown. I saw that yesterday. I have not seen extensions for either player as at this point today. And they're still working on finalizing Frederick's contract. So that contract's still incoming. We'll talk about it when it happens. I still think it's a long time for Trent Frederick. I didn't think he had a great season. He's had some injuries. And I don't know that that's a great contract to hand out to Frederick at this point in time, but we shall see. Matthew Tkachuk. So the Florida Panthers, honestly, the way that they've been partying and just enjoying each other's company, is raising the bar for the rest of the National Hockey League, as Florida does. So now they're not just raising the bar on the ice, but off the ice. And Matthew Tkachuk on social media tagged Summer Rae, Sommer, not Summer, because Summer Rae is a former WWE star as well, so I want to make sure I'm making that distinction. But he tags Summer Rae, from what I've seen, as she's a DJ or a performer, and on social media says, "Hey, my buddy Anton Lundell, great guy. Just so you know, great guy." Now, normally, a celebrity would ignore something, but if it's that high profile of a social media tag, I don't know. I don't know. But I thought it was really funny. And then the funniest part is the responses to this where fans are saying things along the lines of, yeah, he saved my dog from a burning house. I remember when he saved my life. And people just making up these amazing stories about Anton Lundell. So, yeah, kudos. Sometimes social media reminds you why you're on social media. And things like that. Absolutely just fantastic. In between that and just Marshawn being a walking advertisement for Dairy Queen. I can't eat Dairy Queen ice cream. I've been in that situation for a very long time. Soft serve ice cream and me, that doesn't mix. But hey, Marshawn's got a pretty good deal going right now, and maybe he gets himself a sponsorship agreement with Dairy Queen. The Chicago Blackhawks are busy today, so as expected, as we get into the buyout window now for the offseason, TJ Brodie's on waivers, so they are buying him out. I went into this, they save roughly $500,000 of his cap hit for this coming season, but they want him off the team. Like I saw, well, why don't they just send him to the AHL? Generally, GMs don't want to do that. They don't want to be paying out this big contract, even though you can write off a lot of it by sending it down to the AHL. And you want to give players a chance to play somewhere else. So this way, Brodie gets bought out. He gets a chance to sign somewhere else this offseason, and Chicago just has it off the books altogether. So, yeah, Brodie is on waivers for the purpose of buyout. I don't think anybody takes him on waivers. Now, there was a trade made by the Chicago Blackhawks as well today, so I'm wearing a Blackhawks jersey because I like what they've done so far. They've added Andre Burakovsky. Now, Burakovsky had a nightmare season with Seattle, so there's part of me hoping that Burakovsky has some sort of a bounce back this year. Don't laugh. I know he gets injured and he had his struggles with Seattle as well. Going the other way, Joe Veleno going to Seattle. So Veleno goes from Detroit to Chicago to Seattle pretty quickly. With these moves, Seattle has $18.68 million in cap space, so this really helps them out with the cap. Burakovsky's cap hit is higher. It does drop Chicago a little bit in terms of what they have left over, but $22.5 million in cap space, they're fine. I know that Burakovsky's contract doesn't look great, but it doesn't have that much time left in it. I think he's in the final year of his deal, and Chicago can afford to pay him this year and just to hope for a comeback. Some sort of a bounce-back season from Burakovsky, who has shown in the past he has the talent. It's just it has not worked for him over the last couple of seasons, due mostly to injury, although he did play a number of games this year for Seattle where he just wasn't as effective, but who knows if he was 100%. So tonight, it's Game 5 in Abbotsford. It is the big night. I will upload a video to the channel of the little pregame where they announce the rosters and all that. Of course, they play Sirius. One of my favorite songs from Alan Parsons' project. In fact, one of my favorite things about Sirius 2 is it's actually the start for Eye in the Sky. It goes from one end to the other. And I always laugh when they're doing the intro for Sirius, and I used to laugh at this with the Chicago Bulls too. You'd have to kind of loop it because you don't want it to go into the Eye in the Sky because it's such a cool, calm, very sedate song, and so you want to keep that energy from Sirius there. But anyways, Abbotsford's up 3-1. They can finish this tonight. I think Baines has had a great series. I think that Carlson has shown that he is absolutely ready for probably third line time with the Canucks next year. And Shelovs has led to a lot of discussion in the market about how now Vancouver has too many goaltenders. So we go from 6 months ago where it's, well, Demko's not going to play and Shelovs doesn't look like an NHL goalie. And I don't know, all they got's Lankinen and what else do they have? And now it's, oh, hey, look at that. We got so many goaltenders. Let's trade a couple. So it is that market. Charlotte has looked very good over this series at points. But, yeah, Abbotsford at home, momentum's been huge. So we'll see how things go tonight. I am not bringing a whiteboard. I am not taking notes. That is not happening. With these games, I'm just enjoying hockey again. So, and I got to shake hands with Darcy Rhoda before the last game. So weird, I'm going by. I know my wife's told me, she said, he knows who you are. And as I'm going over, his face brightens up. And he said, hey, how's it going? And shook hands with me and everything. And just, it was great. I didn't even ask for an autograph because I've got 3 autographed cards from him. And I just wanted to talk to him and remind him. And I'm going to say this again. He has that Flying V Adidas, and he was wearing it outside the arena. And I said, you've got the only Adidas jersey I don't have and desperately want. And he didn't even offer it to me. What's up with that? I'm just kidding. I don't expect that. But and since Adidas doesn't have the contract anymore, it's not like I can message Fanatics and go, hey, can you guys... So, it's a dream. It's never going to happen. But a Flying V Adidas, that would have been an absolute thing of beauty. And I know that because I've seen it in person. So, all right. Anyways, there you go. I'll be at that game tonight. It does start at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. I know in the States it's being carried on the NHL Network. And so, yeah, I know people said they didn't see me last time, and I'll take your word for it because I was wearing a red jersey in a sea of blue and green. So tonight I'll probably be wearing something blue or green. I'll decide on the neck chain too. I'll figure that out during the day. It's very, very important decision which neck chain you're going to wear. I have a lot of Canucks neck chains. So anyways, there you go. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It is fantastic, and this time of year is always exciting. So the draft next Friday, free agency on the 1st. A lot of stuff to do yet before the summer's officially the summer. I will talk to you again soon.